Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. A native Louisianan, not sure if I got the right number of syllables in that, turned Texan, turned Mississippian. Todd Wells, plant manager at PACCAR Engine here in the Golden Triangle, joins me. Good morning. Thanks for stopping by.
Good morning, Richard. Thanks for having me.
Let's just start with what PACCAR does. There are lots of people that have heard that name and that know that it's part of this kind of linked development, but they're like, tell me a little bit more about what exactly it is that you guys do.
Sure. So PACCAR, it is a global manufacturing company that produces heavy-duty trucks, most familiarly probably recognized with Peterbilt trucks and Kenworth trucks here in North America. We do produce products in Europe and other corners of the world as well that are DOF branded. But we have multi-divisions that support our industry and our business. And then we also produce engines, which is what we produce here in Columbus, Mississippi.
So PACCAR actually builds those two brands that you mentioned are under the PACCAR umbrella, but branded individually, and then you build the engines for those trucks here.
Yes.
And you said that's about 30% of the trucks on the road in the United States?
So right now our market mix is a little over 30% in terms of our market, in terms of what we contribute in trucks on the highway. And then we produce engines that go into those trucks.
Within that industry, how do you grow market share? I mean, you think about established brands in other lines. I mean, like people are either Coke people or they're Pepsi people, they're Ford people or they're Chevrolet people. Is it like that in the truck industry as well?
It's very much so. That's very much the case. I mean, a lot of the things that you do is how you introduce the technology that's available to utilize and make everybody's experience with the product more value to them. Bringing that comfort level, that reliability level, that support level, and also it's about relationships, about how you support your customers and the bonds that you create with your customers.
I think there is an image that exists in some people's minds of what factories look like, and it's kind of dark and it's a little dirty on the floor and grimy, and you got people that are covered in grease from head to toe, and that's not really what high-level industrial manufacturing looks like anymore, is it?
That's not the case for us. That is for sure. Our facility.
Tell me about the facility.
Absolutely. So I would say our perspective from PACCAR in any of our facilities are very, very well maintained, very clean facilities, and that's very much the case with our facility that we have here in Mississippi. It is immaculate. We take pride in keeping our facilities very clean, very orderly, and because we view it as benefits that benefit our employees, our team members that come to work every day and spend their 8 hours of their life every day in that environment. So we want to make it a very inviting environment that you spend a lot of your time in. The second part of that is we utilize our manufacturing locations as sales tools. We bring a lot of customers through our facilities every year, and we utilize that as a sales tool. This is why you need to partner with PACCAR in purchasing products that we produce.
So beyond the brands that you're supplying, obviously you're supplying the engines for those trucks that you were talking about with Peterbilt and, forgive me, the other brand you said was?
Kenworth.
Peterbilt and Kenworth. So you're supplying the engines for your trucks. Are you also supplying engines for other brands?
So not
when you say customers, who are you talking about?
Our customers are our customers that purchase our Peterbilt and Kenworth branded trucks.
Okay.
We do have a relationship with Pierce Fire Truck and Apparatus to where we do provide engines for the first response vehicles that they produce. But it's a very low portion of our productivity, but it is an outstanding partnership that we truly treasure.
So there's a truck line company that is starting up or is looking at making a change. You're trying to sell them on why your engines and your trucks are the way to go for them.
The value we bring and the efficiency to their operations.
In terms of actually building the engines, how much of that process is automated at this point?
So we have, in our machining operations, I would say that it's very heavily automated because of the tolerances and the tight quality specifications that you have to achieve in engine building. And then whenever we transition from the machining operations and start transferring over into the assembly operations, that's where you see a more integration between manual task and some automation supported systems that the operators, our team members utilize to complete their tasks. So you see a bit of a mix of the different technologies and also the man dependency element of manufacturing come together in the facility.
I have almost like this cartoon vision of an assembly line where it's like, okay, the engine's rolling down the conveyor belt, and this guy tightens a bolt, and this guy, screws something in. It's not exactly the what we're talking about there,
Not exactly the case. Not exactly.
I feel like I need to ask for a tour of PACCAR. Today might be short notice, but I'd love to see the facility.
Would love to have you.
And the way that it operates. So kind of walk me through that process. And I don't know if we can necessarily go soup to nuts, very beginning to very end. But what does the process for production of a new engine look like?
So we receive castings, which are the molted metal that is in a somewhat of an idea of an engine, a block or
the block
a head.
Almost, yeah, okay.
And then the machining, we take that and we mill out all the journals, all the features that make that engine ready for assembly, to have all the internal components installed in it and then assembled together and then dressed with the external components on it in our assembly process.
So is that laser cut? Is it lathes that are drilling holes?
Highly precision CNC machines, systems that do the work.
It really is an incredible process. So you said you've been with PACCAR, you told me off air, for 25 years.
25 years.
What does that career evolution look like for you?
For me, over the course of the 25 years, I've had the opportunity to work through probably 12 different roles over the course of that 25 years. And through my career journey, it's been a lot of exposure to all the aspects of our business that I've had the opportunity to go in, whether it's the logistics side of the business, it's production management portions of the business, some strategic planning and development roles, even going into and working out in our supply base, our supplier partners that provide us a lot of the components that we use in our manufacturing processes. And then into the more, recently in my career, kind of taking in terms of the more executive leadership types roles, setting the vision for the organization and executing that vision.
And I'm thinking about that in terms of kind of what we were talking about with Joe Max a little while ago, the 17-year-old who isn't sure what they want to do, or back it up. You said you've got a 13-year-old son. I've got a 12-year-old son. And maybe it's not exactly like it was when we were growing up, but still you ask, a young person, hey, what do you want to do? I want to be a professional baseball player, or I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. I don't know that there are that many kids that say, I want to build engines when I grow up. How does that vision come to life for somebody that is in high school or is even in college and kind of sees an opportunity and then begins to realize that, okay, I'm not going to be a professional athlete, but this is a career path. And I said to Joe a second ago, I said, we're talking about careers, not jobs. Is that a reasonable distinction?
Absolutely. I'm interested in the ones that want to have a career.
Okay.
And because that's the employee, that's the team members that you're looking for, because they have investment, they have engagement, they have a sense of belonging to something that's bigger than maybe their individualistic needs, which are very important. But they're interested in things that are greater than they are.
So is your journey within PACCAR corporate unique, or are there a lot of people that maybe started there early and have kind of worked their way into management or executive level positions? Is that a reasonable goal or a reasonable opportunity for somebody that says, okay, I'm going to start at the ground level and work my way through?
Within the PACCAR culture, it is not unique.
Okay.
We have a lot of our growth, and you talk to a lot of our team members and our employees company-wide that have 20, 25 years of experience, even 15 and 10. We develop from within. We spend a lot of time developing our team from within for that growth and to have that career. That's a big part of our culture.
So we were talking about it a second ago with Joe Max, that young person that is looking for the opportunity. I'm assuming that you're like most companies, you're looking for good people.
Absolutely.
What does that look like for a graduating high school senior, a community college graduate, or maybe somebody that graduates from Mississippi State or Ole Miss or wherever else with an engineering degree?
Well, we have multiple approaches on how we target potential prospective future team members.
Sure.
And we start out into the junior high school levels to where we do various events to introduce those students earlier in their life to what possibilities and opportunities lie ahead of them, and where we bring students into our facility and give them tours. Over the past year, we brought in over 100 students from 6 local high schools in this area within these counties, and that's big. That's giving them some options to think about over the next 2 to 3 years while they're trying to figure out what path do they want to take when they graduate high school.
Yeah.
So we do that. We have partnerships with the MCC. We have a very close-knit relationship with Mississippi State. We have a relationship with Ole Miss where we're working through internship programs, co-ops, skill trade co-ops, and things like that to help us develop tomorrow's prospective employee.
Todd Wells, plant manager at PACCAR Engine Company. Thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
We'll be back with you after this.